What's the strangest/weirdest thing you've seen in someone else's house? First week freshman year, my new roommate and default best friend tells me we are going to a board game night somewhere. I figure frick it, I've got no new friends yet, maybe this is the way to do it. So we go. It ends up being at some sort of church house, but that's fine I guess. We play some train board game and have an alright time with some people who only seem a little weird, but not enough to really throw me off. So the game wraps up and me and my roommate are about to go home when the pastor says, wait, you haven't seen the bathroom yet. You've got to see it. Everyone sees my bathroom. Okay. So we open the door and walk into this little bathroom where every single square inch of the walls, sink, toilet, ceiling, and floor are covered in Elvis memorabilia. Posters, tickets, photos, albums, lyric sheets, everything you can imagine. And mounted above the toilet is a creepy, mostly realistic Elvis animatronic, singing head. Needless to say, this was discomfort I had never felt before. It was beyond being a fan or obsessive or any of that. It was really frightening. So we turn around to him holding a guest book for us to sign. Obviously I made up an email and phone number so he wouldn't email me or call me, and then my roommate, a devout Catholic, tells him he appreciates it, but he's Jewish and he just wanted to come with me while I checked out their small group. That was a weird night. I did a window replacement on a big house in an expensive old area of town. It was lived in by an elderly lady until she passed. It was recent because all her things were still there. This place was a perfect time capsule of the 1960s. Each room had a different theme/vibe and there were mannequins set up all wearing 60s clothing in every room and different scenarios. It was really bizarre. Kinda seemed like the lady was lonely or something. When my wife's grandfather died, I helped clean out the house. His wife died in 1986, and he never changed a thing. The closet still had her clothes and we even found her purse with her belongings in it, including her heart medicine and jazzercise punch card. I don't think this was a loneliness or grief thing though. He had been an alcoholic since he could get his hands on a drink, and he was always very odd in a way that no one can really tell when his dementia set in. Sounds very much like where I live. A very old and very wealthy lady passed away recently. I used to do some work for her, and she owned 3 very 1790s to 1830s homes right next to each other. She lived in one and used the other 2 to store her vast collection of art and antiques, valued in the millions. Each room was themed as you said, and she also had mannequins bedecked with clothes her parents and grandparents owned. Interestingly enough, the first thing in the homes that was replaced by her estate was the windows. I went to my friend Brian's house once for dinner and his mom set 4 places. One for me, one for Brian, one for herself. And the last one was for a doll with a cutout picture of Brian's dead grandmother's face taped to the doll's face. Very creepy. I went to her house, bought a horse and a dog from the lady, and she wanted to cook a big meal. Lonely old lady, so sure I'd be more than happy to have some home cooking. She set 3 plates. Wonder who's coming. She had like 85 dogs, some in the house, others outside. I wondered how she decided where they lived. She said they rotated, so she could sell them house trained outside dogs. Okay, seems logical. Except for one. He got to sit at the table. He was a chihuahua. Tiny as they get. Tiny. He hops up and sits on a stack of books she grabbed, just like every day I guess. Then about halfway through this tiny dog chowing down an entire plate of mashed potatoes, peas, carrots, hamburger, she casually says, "He's actually my first son that died as a baby. He came back as Tito." Wow, could that tiny dog eat? He ate easy 5 times as much as I did, and I had 2 big plates full. He'd fit in your shirt pocket. Then he slept on the arm of the couch for the length of 3 movies. I don't know how he didn't explode. That is terribly sad. My friend's main bathroom had a mirror with scratched in names and words covering the entirety of it. Also in that bathroom was a doorway, separated only by a sliding sheet, that led to a pitch black basement. All you could see from the top of the stairs was the stairs. I asked if I could use another bathroom. Edit. Holy moly, my friend had to have staged this house cause this was literally horror movie stuff. When I starting pulling into her driveway, a car nearly runs into me trying to get out. Didn't question it. After you get down the dark, narrow, mile-long dirt driveway, surrounded entirely by very tall woods, you arrive at her farm. The main house is the first thing you see, very dilapidated, which wasn't a deal breaker, but it was very quiet and unnerving. I guess not for me at the time. On the front porch was a realistic full-sized olive human. Several of its body parts were on the porch floor around the rocking chair it sat in. Let me note this was a freaking Christmas party. But nope. 2017 Stardust saw no threat. What the heck was I thinking? I'd definitely be the first idiot to die if my friend went rings on our butts. I once house sat at a place with a basement entry in the bathroom. There was a door, but it was 2 feet directly in front of the toilet and there was a cat flap. I couldn't use it at night for fear of some undead arm bursting through the flap and grabbing my legs. What you gotta do is just accept that possibility and be prepared for it. Sure, people might get put off by the machete next to the plunger, but you'll have the security of knowing you're protected from any zombie, ghoul, goblin, alien invader from outer space, monster, fiend, or boogum. In college I rented a very old, but huge duplex with 6 of my best friends. After we moved in we discovered that, while the basement had a concrete slab in the laundry area, most of the basement had an exposed, dirt floor instead of foundation. One area of the basement was divided off with sheets and tarps into a few makeshift rooms. Some of them had furniture or mattresses. The largest sheet room in the center of the basement was about 15 feet by 15 feet. In the center of this room was a pit about 4 feet in diameter and about 4 to 5 feet deep, dug into the dirt below the house. In the pit there was a variety of refuse, candles, broken bongs and a shopping cart. Stuffed into the cart was a mannequin, its body parts twisted and contorted to fit inside the space of the cart. This became known as the cult room. Also, the house had a 3rd floor, but since there was no fire escape the landlord had padlocked the door. A few months into our lease we decided to break into the 3rd floor. We simply unscrewed all of the lock hardware and opened the door. There were several other bedrooms upstairs. One was painted from floor to ceiling with a psychedelic mural that was a cross between a black light poster and a scene from Heavy Metal. We also found a very nice pair of speakers, a solid lead 4-foot long rod, and a full-size rusty scythe. This became known as the 2nd cult room. It was a great house. Friend bought a house and asked us if we wanted to see something really weird. Said sure, and she guides us into one of the bedrooms in the basement, opens the closet, and lifts the carpet in the closet. Underneath, buried in the floor of this basement closet, is a chest freezer. Our first guess was for storing game meat for hunting, but the chest freezer did not appear to have power running to it, so it didn't actually keep anything cold. Plus this house had a garage and a barn. Why go through all the trouble of hiding this freezer? It was not set up for a padlock, so it didn't lock. If they were stashing something illegal, they weren't terribly smart about it. We speculated for hours, but never did come up with a satisfactory explanation. I still don't know why the previous owners dug a hole in the basement and put a chest freezer in there. I knew someone who had a chest freezer unplugged in their living room. They sat their couch on top of it. Turns out they stored pre-made batches of magic mushroom tea in there. When I was 17 or 18 I went with my brother to a real estate showing of modest house for sale. Enter. Everything's normal. The owner's stuff is there. Nothing unusual. The real estate agent is giving her spiel. We start exploring the house, and I opened a door onto a bedroom that was very much inhabited by a very sick individual. Meds everywhere, tubes and machines, the works. Probably an old CPAP, but to 17-year-old me, it looked like these people had grandpa on life support in the back room. To be fair, caring for a sick loved one equals not weird. Not mentioning his presence when the real estate agent calls and wants to show the house to a potential buyer equals so odd. Went over a friend's house once. His entire house was pretty normal, probably even tidier than most people's houses. Kitchen was clean and tidy, living room was clean, etc. Except his bathroom, where there was literally hundreds of empty/half-drunk McDonald's cups. They were everywhere, around the sink, around the bathtub, on the windowsill, on the towel rack, on the shelving, On the toilet cistern, on the floor. It was weird seeing as besides the cups, the rest of the bathroom was perfectly clean. The toilet was clean, the sink was clean, and it smelled fresh. Still wonder about this to this very day. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Don't forget to leave your stories in the comments below.